Football has always been a game of passion, of instinct, of human genius. But what if none of that mattered anymore?
The world is changing.
Right now, we're going through an AI revolution.
It's not the same anymore.
Where decisions are no longer made by man, they're made by machine. And the thing is, the future isn't coming. It's already here.
The breakthrough of AI has completely taken over the world. Business, education, science. And now it appears that football is next.
For over a century, football has been about human brilliance, quick thinking, raw talent, the magic of the unpredictable. But today, with the rise of artificial intelligence, those days may be the days of the past. But what happens when a sport built on instinct is controlled by data? If we want to understand what's really going on, how AI is changing the world of football as we know it, we have to look beyond the hype, and we have to dig deeper than we've ever done before. Together we will dive into how AI is taking over football, how it's changing scouting, training, and even the way the game is played, and most importantly, what it means for you. Because this isn't just some distant future, it's happening right now. The way players train, the way coaches decide, the way clubs scout, everything is changing. And once you see the full picture, there's no going back. I hope you're ready, because in this new era, talent alone won't be enough. It's those who understand the system who will survive it. And whatever you do, don't be left behind, because AI is here to stay. This is the birth of the AI footballer.
Okay, let's take a step back. Of course, AI isn't fully running football, but it's influencing more and more decisions every day that passes. And if you don't understand how AI works, you're already behind. And to be fair, I think that most of us don't really know what AI is and what it actually does. We think about robots, we think about ChatGPT or sci-fi movies where machines take over the world, but AI isn't just some futuristic idea anymore. It's already here, and whether you realize it or not, it's running a huge part of the world around you. And now that also includes football. But before we dive into football specifically, I think it's important to widen our perspective and to first understand what AI is at its core and what it actually does.
AI is not magic, it's not a mind of its own. It's a system designed to do one thing: to process massive amounts of data to detect patterns, make predictions, and automate decisions. And in a world built on data, that makes AI incredibly powerful. So how does it actually work? AI operates in three main ways: machine learning, predictive analytics, and automation. Machine learning is when AI studies millions, sometimes billions, of examples looking for patterns, and the more data it has, the smarter it gets. That's how AI recognizes faces, translates languages, and even predicts financial trends. Predictive analytics is AI's ability to take past data and predict what happens next. It forecasts stock market movements, weather patterns, and even potential disease outbreaks. And then there's automation, where AI doesn't just analyze data, it acts on it. It runs self-driving cars, filters spam emails, and even decides who gets hired at certain companies. And this is why AI is taking over. Because AI is faster, it's cheaper, and it never gets tired. It works 24/7 and never needs rest. It processes more information than any human could in a lifetime. And in a world that's becoming more and more data-driven, AI is simply the perfect system.
But here's where things get interesting, because what happens when AI starts controlling something built on passion, instinct, and unpredictability? Well, that's exactly what's happening to football. Football has always been a game where talent, hard work, and the right opportunities made the difference, because that's what we've been told, right? Train hard, perform well, and hopefully someone will notice you. But what if the people watching aren't even people? See, for years, football scouting was about intuition. A coach or a scout would stand on the sideline, watch players, and look for something special. But that's changing, and it's changing fast. And if you don't understand how all of this works, you're going to get left behind. So to truly be able to realize your full potential in the AI era, we have to create a better understanding of what data-driven football is, and we will do that by going back in time.
It started small. In the 1950s, 𝗪𝗓, an accountant turned analyst, was one of the first to collect detailed football statistics, recording every pass, shot, and goal by hand. His findings laid a foundation for modern-day football analysis, but back then, football wasn't ready to listen. Then came the 90s, when Arsène Wenger changed everything. At Arsenal, he introduced nutrition tracking, physical performance analysis, and early forms of data-driven player management. In the same period, clubs like AC Milan developed the Milan Lab, a cutting-edge sports science program designed to monitor players' bodies and predict injuries before they happened. But it wasn't until the 2000s that the real revolution began. Billy Beane's Moneyball approach transformed baseball, and football started paying attention. Clubs like Brentford and Brighton in England, Midtjylland in Denmark, and RB Leipzig in Germany took things to another level, using algorithms and player data to find undervalued talent. Then came tracking technology, GPS vests, heart rate monitors, heat maps. Suddenly, footballers weren't just being judged by what they did with the ball, but by how much distance they covered, how they position themselves, and even their physiological responses during games.
When you look back at everything we just went through, it's crazy to see how far we've come, because from a single man in the 1950s tracking passes in his notebook to entire clubs being built purely on data. If 𝗪𝗓 could see where we are today, I don't know if he would be proud or terrified. Because here's the thing. For decades, data was just a tool, something that helped coaches, scouts, and analysts make better decisions. But today, that's not enough anymore, because we have crossed a new threshold where AI isn't just helping football, it's changing it. Predictive analytics, machine learning, biometric tracking, AI-driven scouting reports now predicts a player's future potential based on data, sometimes before they've even been noticed by traditional scouts. And if you think that this is just some futuristic idea that clubs are testing out behind closed doors, you're wrong, because it's already happening. And for some players, this is an opportunity, but for others, it's a problem.
Because AI, it doesn't think like a human. It doesn't care about context. It doesn't see the late nights you spend training alone. It doesn't see the setbacks you fought through, both on and off the pitch. It doesn't take into account the mentality that makes you a leader on the pitch. It simply doesn't care about your story. AI only sees one thing, and that's the numbers, the data, the raw output of everything you do, broken down into statistics, metrics, and probabilities. And this is where you need to make a decision. Because you can pretend this isn't happening and just hope for the best, or you can be the kind of player who understands it, adapts to it, and uses it to your advantage. Because if you don't, someone else will.
If you want to make it in football today, you can't just be a good player, you have to be the right player. And what do I mean by that? Well, because the people scouting you today are not coaches with clipboards anymore. They are algorithms. AI doesn't watch you play, it analyzes you. It breaks your game down into thousands of data points, how many times you sprint, your passing accuracy under pressure, your expected impact on the game. But there's one thing that many players don't realize, and it's that clubs don't just use AI to be smarter in their scouting, they're using it to be faster and more efficient, and this is actually incredible news for you. Because traditional scouting is time-consuming and is limited by human constraints, because someone has to attend the game to watch you. But AI never sleeps. It's scanning leagues, academies, and even certain amateur games in real time. This means, for the first time, more players around the world have a chance to get scouted regardless of their location. But only if they know how to make AI notice them.
For decades, scouting was built on instinct. The coach would travel to a local pitch, watch a certain player play, and decide, based on what he saw, if the player had potential. But instincts can be wrong. Biases can creep in. Talent can be missed. That's why clubs started using data. At first, it was simple, tracking goals, assists, speed. But then, clubs realized they could take it even further. Brentford, Brighton, and Midtjylland pioneered data-driven scouting models, finding hidden gems that traditional scouts overlooked. 𝗪𝗶 𝗲𝗵𝗂𝗧 and the entire Red Bull system turned recruitment into a science, identifying players based on high-intensity pressing stats and specific playing profiles. And it worked. The next evolution, AI scouting. And it's already producing results. Because AI isn't just analyzing players, it's actually discovering them. Take Ben Greenwood for example. Ben was a young player who participated in a beta trial of the AI scouting platform 𝗖𝗏. His impressive data placed him at the top of the leaderboards across multiple categories, eventually capturing the attention of Chelsea's scouting team. This led to an 8-week trial with their under-18 team, where he even scored on his debut. A player who, under the old scouting system, might have been completely overlooked. And that's how quickly the game is changing. AI is opening doors, it's scanning every level of the game, academy, semi-pro, even grassroots, which means the opportunity of getting noticed have never been higher. But there is a catch, because if you don't understand how AI scouts players, you could still get left behind.
AI doesn't care about the fancy tricks you practice in your backyard, it doesn't care about how many followers you have on Instagram. It cares about patterns, how efficiently you move, how consistent your decision-making is, how well you execute in the moments that actually matter. It's scanning for traits that correlate with success at the highest level, and if you don't know what those traits are, you're already behind. So if you're serious about making it, you need to train differently, you need to think differently. Because the game isn't just changing, it has already changed. The players who understand this first, they will be the ones who make it, and the rest, they will keep wondering why they never got their shot. But understanding AI is just step one, and now we have to answer the biggest question of all. How do we actually train in the AI era?
Think about it like this. If you know what AI is looking for, you can train in a way that makes you stand out. Most players train the way they always have, and that's not a bad thing, because football is about instincts, flow, and creativity, and when you're in a game or training, you should be focused on playing, not calculating numbers in your head. But where does AI have the edge? It has the edge in that it analyzes performance, it tracks patterns, it makes adjustments based on real data. And if you want to stand out in the AI era, that's exactly what you need to do. Think about it this way, the key to training like an AI-driven footballer isn't changing how you play, it's changing how you analyze, not during training, but afterward. If you have access to video footage of your matches, use it. Break your game down into hard objective stats, just like AI does. But AI doesn't judge players off of one match, it looks at patterns, it builds a data set, and that's exactly what you need to do.
So let's say you're a midfielder and you want to improve your passing. Most players, they just train and play and hope that they get better. But if you track your numbers, you will know exactly where you stand. Watch one of your games and count, for example, how many passes you attempted, how many passes were successful, and then you'll get your passing success percentage. And do this for 5 to 10 games, because one game isn't enough. But once you've done that for 10 games, and let's say your passing accuracy is at 75%, now you have a baseline. Now you know exactly what you need to work on. But what if you don't have access to game footage? Well, you can still track your performance just like Charles Reap did in the 1950s. Ask a coach, a teammate, or a friend to attend one of your games with one goal in mind, to track one key area of your game. If you're a dribbler, have them count how many times you successfully beat a defender versus how many times you lose the ball. If you're a defender, have them track how many 1v1 duels you win versus how many you lose. If you're a goalkeeper, have them record your save percentage. It doesn't have to be complicated. One person, one stat, one game at a time. And that's how you create your own data. Now, let's apply this to your training. So step one, choose 1 or 2 key areas to track, and don't overwhelm yourself with too much data. Pick the areas that define your game. If you, for instance, are a dribbler, track your 1v1 success rate. If you're a defender, you can track your tackles won versus lost. Or if you're a goalkeeper, you can track your save percentage. Step 2, build a data set over multiple games, because one game isn't enough. So analyze 5 to 10 games to get an accurate reflection of your ability. Step 3, set a target and track your progress. If your 1v1 success rate right now is at 55%, aim for 60%. If your passing accuracy is at 75%, push for 80. Because when you see the numbers, you will know exactly where you need to improve. But here's the thing, stats aren't everything. Let's say that you have a lower passing accuracy than another midfielder. Does that mean that they're better? Not necessarily. Because context is always king. If you're playing high-risk, high-reward passes, your passing accuracy might naturally just be lower. But when those passes do connect, they will create game-changing moments. AI can track efficiency, but it struggles to understand why you made that pass. And that's where your own football intelligence comes in. So yes, track your performance, analyze like AI, but never forget football isn't played in an algorithm, it's played on the pitch. And the best players aren't just efficient, they're effective.
But we can't get rid of the fact that football is evolving, and the players who understand how to train smarter, not just harder, are already ahead. Because AI isn't just changing how clubs analyze football, it's changing how they decide. Soon, AI won't just be tracking your numbers, it could be deciding your future. What happens when clubs rely so much on data that they stop looking at the player? What happens when AI decides who gets a contract and who doesn't? If AI sees you as valuable, it puts you on the radar. If it doesn't, breaking through just got even harder. For over a century, footballers control their own fate, but what happens when that fate is influenced by algorithms? What happens when clubs rely more on AI's predictions than their own instincts, when they start putting their faith in numbers rather than what they see? Today, AI assists in decision-making. It helps coaches analyze opponents, it helps scouts find hidden talent, it helps clubs predict injuries before they happen. But what happens when AI doesn't just assist, but acts as the deciding factor? What happens when a club no longer needs a scout to watch a game in person because AI can scan thousands of players in seconds and filter out who is worth watching? What if your playing style doesn't fit the algorithm? What if the numbers say you're too slow, too weak, not efficient enough? We've already seen it happen before. 𝗪𝗏, the first analyst to break football down into statistics, believed that long balls and direct play were the key to winning, and that one idea shaped entire generations of English football. Years later, clubs like Brentford and Midtjylland proved that numbers could outthink traditional scouting, signing undervalued players no one else even noticed. And today, AI is evolving at a rate far beyond anything we've ever seen before.
So here's the real question. If AI is already predicting who will succeed, even before they get the chance, what happens to the players who don't fit the mold? What if an AI model determines that your playing style has a low probability of success, so clubs never even consider you? What if talent isn't found by humans anymore, but by machines? AI is designed to find patterns, but what about the players who break them? Would 𝗪𝗁 have made it in the AI era? Or would an algorithm have said that he was too weak, too small, and never given him a chance? If a scout rejects you, you can prove them wrong, but if AI rejects you, who do you prove wrong?
AI doesn't care about your passion, it doesn't care about your personal journey. It sees numbers, it sees efficiency, and if the system says you don't belong, then you never even get a chance to prove that you do. But here's the truth, this isn't set in stone. AI is shaping football, but it doesn't decide everything. Because for all the numbers, all the calculations, all the predictions, there's one thing AI will never replace: the human factor. The instinct to take a shot no one expects. The decision to go left when the data says right. The ability to change a game not because it was calculated, but because it was felt. AI can scout, AI can analyze, AI can optimize, but it can't feel the moment, it can't take the risk. It can't rewrite history in an instant with a flash of brilliance. Football has always been about the unexpected, the impossible, the moments that defy logic, and that's something no algorithm can predict. So don't fear AI, use it, train with it, learn from it, adapt to it. But never forget, football is still a game of heart, it's still a game of human genius, and no machine can take that away. Because in the end, the future of football won't be decided by AI, it will be decided by you.